What's up, everyone? Welcome back to, I guess not welcome back because this is a collab. Welcome to one of the biggest collabs in podcast history. We have the People Person podcast meeting the Put Me In Coach podcast to create the ultimate good time March Madness preview, whatever you want to call it. Me, Wyatt Metzger, I'm joined here with Cole and Ben from the Put Me In Coach podcast. How you guys doing?
Lovely, babe. Happy to be here.
Thrilled.
So what we're going to do today, instead of going through our brackets, which you can see our brackets, we're going to post them all on the GoodTime Instagram page. So you can see our full brackets, what we think is going to happen on there. You don't want to hear us go through every single game by game. That's boring. You see that everywhere else. What we're going to do, we created some categories, some specific categories to our shows, and we're going to just run through those, and it should cover most of the tournament and what we expect to see, what we don't expect to see, and how we see this March planning out. So I guess I can start it off. I know, Cole, you have a few categories, but if you want me to just start off, run through ours.
Yeah, you got it. Run through the categories that you have, and I'll just chime in.
Sounds great. All right. Category number 1. I think this is going to be a potential heated argument here. This is the fuck me team. So it's pretty aggressive. This is the team that could completely fuck your bracket very early on. I'm sure we all have our own takes on what this is going to look like, but this is a team that if they make it far, your bracket's screwed and done for. So it's this one team that could completely ruin your March Madness bracket. I'll hand it over to you, Ben. You go first. Who's your fuck me team?
The first fuck me team I've got is going to be Arkansas. Arkansas, I don't have them winning more than one game in a single bracket that I've made. Another team, BYU. BYU, I don't think there's a chance that they can win the game. I don't think BYU is very good at basketball, and they never have been. And thirdly, Creighton. Creighton, I just watched them play Georgetown, and they looked like a wreck basketball team. They looked terrible. They scored like 35 points in the game, and no one is good on their team. So, yeah, those are my 3.
I don't know a single person who's picked Creighton to win that game, which is scary because they win, everyone's screwed.
I know. Yeah, when everyone's on the same side, it's usually not a good sign, but I'm going to ride with them.
And then Arkansas, must bus. Musselman's got the March personality. So, if he makes a run, you're going to see him everywhere. He's going to be on every outlet talking, hyping up his squad. You're going to see his post-game dances in the locker room. So, I can just visualize it because I know what he's going to do if they do make a run. But, again, I have them losing. Let's see. Who would they play the second round? They play Colgate first, right? And then
Texas Tech would be second round.
Did you say? Texas
Tech, yeah.
I think I might have them winning that game. I think I have them losing the Sweet 16. But
Arkansas is definitely the scariest one of the 3 that I chose, but I think Arkansas is just a bit overrated. That's all.
I think that game against Colgate is going to be so high scoring, it's ridiculous.
I'm so excited for that game. I've got Colgate winning that one.
Cole, what you thinking?
Wow, those were great inputs by both sides there. Okay, but here's mine. I agree. Did you say Creighton, Ben? Or
yeah.
Did you say, yeah, I agree with him. Creighton stinks. We watched their Big East championship game. They suck. Their coach is racist. He said the word plantation, referring to his team. Makes no sense.
The P word. We refer to as the P word on this podcast.
I apologize. He said that shit, and that shit doesn't fly in America, so I hate him. Number 2, Arkansas. I don't know anything about Colgate, but we watched them too. They also stink, and they're very Caucasian. I don't know why they're in the tournament, but they won their crappy little conference. Arkansas scares me, though, because I do have them losing to Texas Tech, and if they lose to Colgate, that's absolutely embarrassing. Yeah. And my last team, I'm going to say Alabama. They're a 2 seed. They're pretty cool. They're all right. They roll tide. They're nothing like their football team, but I'm going to go with Bama. I think that's going to be my other team. I have them losing second round. A buddy of mine has them losing first round, so I just don't have high hopes on them.
Okay, that's fair. I got Bama making it pretty far, so that would screw me if they lose. So we'll see. My one fuck me team that made me think of this category, because I'm really worried that this is going to happen, is a 1 seed, and it's the Michigan Wolverines. So as we'll get into our final 4 picks later on, but I think Michigan is the most susceptible and the weakest 1 seed right now. They're not the same team without Livers, and I have them losing to LSU in the second round, which is scary to me because that's starting to become a trendy pick. The more people are talking about it, the more I hate the pick because I just want to be in my own little bubble and be the only one who picked it. But now that I put my picks out there, people apparently hopping on the train. I want to say I put it out first, but I probably didn't.
Everyone's just taking your picks.
That's what I'm thinking. But I could very well see Michigan's still a damn good team. They are a really good team, and you saw it in the Big Ten tournament, even without Livers. So they could very easily just cakewalk their way to a Final Four and say, fuck you, Wyatt. I don't care about your bracket. So they're my team. I'm really worried they're just going to cakewalk through people. But if I get that one right, my bracket's going to be in pretty good shape because that's where my chaos happens in that East, or what is that? What bracket is that? Right? Yeah. East. So we'll see. That's definitely my fuck me team. Michigan, get out in the second round, please.
I like that. LSU is really good. They play fast pace. I think they're top 10 in the country in scoring. Wyatt, you're a smart guy. You're not just a pretty face.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it helps though. The face helps for sure.
Yeah, I agree.
Next category, the no one cares game. Now this can be a first round matchup that we already know is going to happen, or a potential matchup that no one gives a shit about. It's maybe one of those games that's going to happen like late Friday night that you're just going to like fall asleep to because like it doesn't matter. I feel like there's always a few games late at night where it's like I really don't care about this game. So
I've got a great one for this category, actually, I think.
All right, lead us off then. Let's hear it, Ben.
It goes along with your LSU beating Michigan pick really well. The LSU St. Bonaventura game, actually. I don't know why St. Bonaventure is a 9 seed, but I don't think that game's going to be close at all. I don't even plan on watching it. I think LSU is just going to roll through them.
Not high in the Bonnies. All right. Cole, thoughts? What's your game?
I mean, sure. Bonnies are Bonnies. Damn. Game that no one cares about. I'm gonna say
I have the correct answer, by the way, so it's fine.
I want to hear yours first then, because I might have
the correct answer to this game, even though I picked this as an upset in the first round, it's just gonna be insanely boring to watch, is North Texas versus Purdue.
Yeah.
Yes, in Indiana, sure. Yeah, we should watch Purdue support, whatever. It's an Indiana hometown team. This is going to be the worst basketball you ever see. This is going to bring us back to the 1950s. These are the two of the top 20 slowest teams in the country in terms of like possessions per game. The first team to 45 is going to win this game. Already hammered the under. It's going to be terrible basketball to watch. Yeah, sure, it might be a good game. I think North Texas could win that, mainly because I pick against Purdue every single year, just because a lot of my friends go there and it's fun. But it's not going to be a good basketball game. Good if you're a fan of 1950s basketball, but if you watch an NBA game within 48 hours and then of watching this game, you're going to think it's a different sport. It's not going to be fun to watch. That's my no one cares game.
I feel like every first round matchup that Purdue gets in the tournament, it's never a good game. Like it's not like that, but like it's just not fun to watch. Like you were saying, just classic 1950s basketball, honestly.
Purdue just might not be a fun team ever. I think it's the colors.
Their colors are really gross.
They're gross, so they're destined to play gross basketball.
I like it, Wyatt. I actually wasn't thinking about that, but that is a very gross game. I think that's the lowest total, actually.
Gotta be. I think it's like 127.
Oh, my God. It was even lower.
That and the Virginia game.
Yeah. For mine here, I'm going to go out on a limb. Okay, well, I'm going to first say every single play-in game. I don't care about those games. They're fun to watch, though, so I'm not going to, bash them.
What about Michigan State, UCLA?
Yeah, and that's what I was about to say, actually, is that I'm going to assume Michigan State wins. I think that game against BYU could potentially absolutely stink. Okay, Michigan State is like horrible offensively, absolutely atrocious. I don't know what the stats were I was telling Ben yesterday, but they're outside the top 100 in a lot of categories. But their defense is really good. So against a team like BYU, where you just stop them from scoring, you're fine. I mean, that game could end 55-50, and you're scratching your head wondering why you spent 2.5 hours watching that game. And that's really all I got with that. I think the Purdue one was real good, though. I think my second one I'd have to pick.
So which one is yours called? Just the BYU first round?
All of the playing games?
Mine is whoever BYU is playing first round. I'm not watching BYU. My second one, I'm going to pick a game that has a lot of hype around it, actually. I'm going to do Virginia, Ohio. Every single Virginia game is played like it's in the roaring 20s. So I want no part of watching that team play. Ohio's not bad. They have a nice little point guard on their team, little LaMelo Ball looking guy.
Isn't he like the highest scoring player in the country, the Ohio guy? Or he's up there?
He's up. I mean, he's not in the country, but he does average like 16, 7, and 7 or something wild like that. But Virginia hasn't played a game in probably over a week now. So they're going to come out and they're just going to play gritty defense, and that sucks.
Yeah, they're not going to be able to shoot at all.
No, and that game sucks.
Yeah.
Games with Virginia just automatically suck.
All right, and then moving on from a more optimistic standpoint, what do we want to see in March? What's something that's going to get people to tune into? This is the America's Sweetheart category. This is a team that you could see stealing America's heart. Like a old school Wichita State, VCU, George Mason, those teams that you just like the whole country seems to rally behind late into March. So let's have Cole. Cole, you start. We'll go right back to you. Who's your America's Sweetheart team?
America's Sweetheart, huh? I got a couple. I got two America's Sweethearts, okay? Number one, Utah State, okay?
Ew.
I don't know crap about their team.
Aren't they the Aggies? Is that their nickname? Utah State Aggies? I
really have no idea. I never heard of Utah State until maybe 2 days ago. So I'm kind of confused on how they made the tournament, what conference they're in. But yeah, I'll say that. The one that I'm a little bit more I'd say Loyola Chicago, since that old lady's going to be there, but they play Illinois, and Illinois scares the crap out of me. So I'm not going to pick that one. That one's scary. I'm going to go with Georgetown. Georgetown, 12 seed, won the Big East. If they go on a run, they're beating Florida State, Michigan, Texas. I think the whole world would be behind them.
Like that. Like, what are your thoughts on Sister Jean going to Indy and watching them play?
Well, last time I heard we're in a pandemic and people in her age category don't do too well against it. So I'm a little confused with why she's going. I hope she's wearing about 5 masks. I think it's what she needs to do. But I also think it's going to give the Loyola Chicago fan base something to cheer for. And you know damn well that throughout that whole first game, they're probably going to show Sister Jean, Lady Jean, whatever the hell her name is, probably 20 times in that game.
Yeah, so, what do you think the over-under is for amount of times that they show Sister Jean during that first-round matchup?
I thought you were about to say, what's the over-under on, years she lives?
I mean, that could also be the question. But over-under is probably 20, Ben, I would have to say.
Yeah, they're going to cut to her, every time out. And I think they should, film B-roll of her before and then have her not go and say she, just film B-roll of her clapping, fist in the air, waving a little baton, and then
they're going to show her strolling in probably 5 times saying, look who's here, mm-hmm. acting like it's the first lady. But I'm going to be honest, I don't know anything about the lady. I don't know anything.
Why is she such a big deal?
Did she meet Jesus or something? I don't know what.
That's a great. She has some role at the university, and I for the life of me have no idea what, but she just she was right place, right time, and she was old enough to be some kind of figure in front of all the
fire. She probably has fire chapel sessions, and that's why she gets good respect.
With some bars up in there.
Yeah.
So that'll be an interesting storyline to see how far Sister Jean can take take the Ramblers this year. I'll go next. My America's sweetheart is the Iona. I think they're the Gales. I'm going to say Iona Gales for one man and one man only, because how great would it be to have a Sweet 16, Elite 8, and get to see Rick Pitino's face plastered on every ESPN segment for the next couple days. I think it would be just an incredible story to see Rick Pitino back in all his glory, back on the national stage, making a run with Iona. So while it's more of an ironic pick, because it would obviously he's been into some shady stuff, but it would be hilarious to see Rick Pitino back on a national stage and make ESPN talk about him. I think that would be phenomenal. Iona is my America's sweetheart.
It would be even better if they played Sister Jean in the championship or something like that. And then you got Rick Pitino, who's very rude, and Sister Jean, who I think created Holy Water. So I think that would be really good. That would be sick.
That is literally just like devil versus an angel.
Honestly.
Ben, who's your America's sweetheart or sweethearts?
Well, my America's sweethearts. I was gonna do Loyola Chicago, but I mean, like, I think every single person would say that that's the America's sweetheart team. So I'm gonna go with Florida because they had a dude, Keontae Johnson, earlier on in the year, and he literally just collapsed on the floor. Me and Cole were talking about this, but if they get hot and they get going, I can see people getting around them for sure. I don't have them winning a game in the tournament, but if they do, watch out for them.
If they win a game, then they could maybe make a run. How is he? I haven't heard anything about it. Obviously, it was terrifying when all that happened, and then it came out that like he was all right, like he's recovering. Is he like with the team in any capacity right now?
I know he's not playing the whole year, but I think my guess would be that he's with them. I bet he'll be there with them in Indianapolis.
Yeah, he's with the team. He's sitting on the bench. I don't think he can get too like carried away with how excited he gets, because like he could do it, that whole passing out thing all over again. I think they said something about that, but he's sitting with the bench. If he's sitting with like on the bench the whole time, I like that pick, Ben. I think Florida could honestly make a serious run too.
Yeah.
That was one of like the moments that kind of defined this season, just because it felt like as when that happened and like news broke and like that video was going around, I honestly thought they were just going to cancel the season. I thought like if they, because it was in the middle of like COVID was starting to like have a second wave, and then that happened. It was super scary. I thought like, oh, the season's over. So the fact that we're here is phenomenal. But yeah, that would be quite the story if Florida makes a run with him, cut to him on the bench. That would be awesome. I would root for that 100%.
I'm behind it 100%.
Next question. Next category. I want to do the kind of the opposite of the fuck me team. It's going to be the I told you so team. This is the team that you're riding, you're behind in your bracket. Every bracket you make, you have them making a little run. They could very easily lose in the first round, but if they make the run like you predicted, you're going to be shoving it down every single person's throat and be like, I told you so. So I'll start this one off. My I told you, because I already alluded to earlier, my I told you so team is LSU. Again, I'm worried. People are hopping on the bandwagon. I see little TikTokers who are like 14 saying like, oh, LSU is a sleeper team. I was like, no, that's my pick. Keep it quiet. If you have good information, keep it quiet. But these kids are running around telling everybody, even though I posted on Instagram and put that out, but that's beside the point. People are running around telling everybody LSU's hot, make them make a run. So that's my I told you so team, but I guess I'm going to have people on my side when I have to tell them so. So it kind of sucks. It's taking the the fun out of it, but my told you so team, LSU.
I feel that. I'll go ahead and say mine. My I told you so team, man, which one do I want to pick? I'm going to go with the more shocking one. I'm going to have Virginia Tech going to the Sweet 16. In order to do that, they have to beat Florida, who we actually just hyped up, and Ohio State, who is the 2 seed. And honestly, they look just as good as any team in the country right now, in my opinion. But it needs to be top 25. I think they're the Hokies. That name alone is very cool. And they were ranked in the top 25 in the some part of this year, 4-0 against top 25 teams.
Yeah.
I mean, they're probably going to be playing top 25 teams again. History says they're undefeated. I don't see why they don't go undefeated again in the tournament.
Numbers don't lie.
Stats, baby. I'm a big numbers guy.
All right, my
Numbers don't lie, Ben.
numbers don't lie, Coach. That's a fact. My told you so team. I don't think it's a big shocker, but it is Texas. I think Texas is incredible. Jericho Sims, Andrew Jones, Matt Coleman. Their coach is Shaka Smart. He's been to the Final Four before. I think Texas is going to make a deep run in this tourney. I also think they got the easiest 1 seed to go through, which is why I was talking about earlier with Michigan. I think they should be able to beat Michigan pretty easily. And, yeah, I think Texas is going to meet Gonzaga in the Final Four.
The thing with Texas, I have them losing. I don't know why. I couldn't explain this pick. I have them losing to the winner of the playing game, as Cole alluded to earlier, Michigan State, UCLA. I have them making a run. I always buy into a play-in team because one always makes the Sweet 16. They always do. And I was like, it has to be the winner of this Michigan State UCLA team. Unfortunately, they go through Texas. So I don't know.
I wanted to take Michigan State to go on a little run, but then I saw they had to play Texas second round, and Texas was one of my favorite teams coming into the tournament. So
It's Michigan State can beat any team in the country, but they can also lose by 20 to any team in the country. So Mr. March Tom Izzo might have some things up his sleeve, but we'll see with that one. I do like that pick though. Texas, I feel like that's a trendy Final Four pick for a lot of people. I like that.
Yeah.
All right, next up, we'll do these two combined. So we're gonna do the region of death and then Chalk City. So with the region of death, this is a region that you think all hell is going to break loose. It's going to be chaos. I'm talking multiple double-digit seeds in the Sweet 16, just absolute madness throughout the entire region. It always feels like there's one region where just shit hits the fan and you don't know what's going to happen. So, and then also Chalk City, that's the region where like, all right, everything could go by the book. Everything, top 4 seeds are going to make it through. 1 seed has a good shot at a Final Four, but you're going to see the top seeds advance. So, Cole, do you want to start us off here?
Yeah. I think the obvious one is the West region. The number 1 seed's Gonzaga. I think we already talked about it, but there's Creighton in there, Virginia. I even think that USC is kind of overrated. I think those are all teams that can lose in the first round. Ohio isn't bad. They could definitely go on a run if they really feel like it. If they beat Virginia, then I don't see how they can't win in the second round. I would say the same thing for Santa Barbara. You know, if they beat Creighton in the first round, I don't see why they can't beat Virginia or Ohio in the second. And I think, you know, you talked about Michigan State being a play-in team that you like. I like Wichita State a whole lot as my play-in team. I don't think it would be that shocking at all. No,
is Ron Baker still there? I hope so.
No, he's not. But the coach that they had back then when they had Ron Baker is still there. And
Ron Baker.
Greg Marshall, that's the coach?
Yeah, he's still there.
I'm just going to assume Ron Baker's still there.
That's fine.
That's fine, yeah.
Yeah, there's people on the team that look like him, so I mean, like, it works. But I think
we all look like him.
I look like Ron Baker for sure.
We all kind of look like Ron Baker.
That is true.
I feel like Ron Baker isn't a person. He's just an idea. He's a concept.
That is fair. He is quite the idea. But yeah, Wichita State over Kansas, I don't think is crazy. If I had to pick the second one, I think the Midwest region could get mighty wild. I think Oklahoma State and Illinois are the only 2 legit teams in there. So I'm talking about Sister Jean. I'm talking about San Diego State. I'm talking about Morehead State. I'm talking about all those teams. All those teams can get a win one way or another.
And who's your Chalk City?
My Chalk City? Man, I think the biggest chalk in this tournament is having Baylor, Illinois, and Gonzaga in your Final Four. I think that's the biggest chalk.
Yeah.
Like that. I'll go ahead and say mine. My region of death, I've talked about it the entire show. The East with Michigan. Obviously, I said I have them losing early. Then the other top seeds are Bama, Texas, Florida State, and Colorado. I could see a scenario in which all of those teams are out by the Sweet 16. Michigan could lose to LSU. Bama could lose to, I think, who's it, UConn? They could.
Iona maybe too.
Even Iona, yes. Rick Pitino, people forget he's the coach there now. So that Bama could lose in the second round. Florida State plays. Who is that 6th seed there? I should know this. I should have a bracket.
Like Colorado second round is what it would be.
Oh, then who's the? Oh, them. That's I have them losing to the playing game. Michigan State. Both those teams could lose to the playing team there. So I could see a scenario in which the top 5 seeds in that bracket don't make the Sweet 16. So that's definitely my region of death. I expect full chaos there, but we'll see what happens. My chalk city is the South. I think very on the opposite end of that. I think there's a scenario in which it goes completely chalk as long as Villanova can beat Winthrop. That's the pick. Everyone wants to say, oh, Winthrop's going to win. Winthrop's going to win. Villanova's out. Was it Gillespie? He's gone. He's hurt. So everyone's picking Winthrop. That's a trendy pick. Guys, let's take a deep breath here. Jay Wright is still the coach for Villanova. He has had an entire week to game plan for Winthrop. Without his best player, sure. It's Jay Wright. He's a good-ass coach. He's been in March before. He knows what to do. He's had a full week to game plan. He's fine. Villanova's going to win that game. The rest of the top seeds are going to win that game. Obviously, I picked Purdue to lose, but that's just my heart tells me to do it every year. And then Baylor, good as hell. And then who's that 2 seed? Ohio State, playing as good as anyone in the country right now. All those teams could make it to the Sweet 16. It could play out completely chalk. Chalk City is the South, and I'd honestly be shocked if it goes any other way.
I really wish you could see, I guess, never mind. I was going to say something stupid. Continue.
All right, well, mine, my region of chaos, I was going to do Baylor's region, but after listening to you, I think that that's not smart. So I'm going to go with Illinois. Illinois' region was my second choice, and I just think that because Illinois' region is stacked. Like, Illinois and Oklahoma State could take them out in the Sweet 16 for sure. Like, if Cade Cunningham wants to drop 40, I mean, he can do that. And Houston's got a bucket getter on their team. I forget who it is, but he's got a clip. He can shoot from downtown. West Virginia, Syracuse. I think Syracuse could make a little run, and they're an 11 seed. Oregon State, they just won their conference championship, I think.
Yeah, they made a run in the Pac-12 out of nowhere.
I mean, Pac-12, that conference stinks. I'm not gonna lie, but you never know. My chalk region. I'm gonna go with Gonzaga's region. Actually, I think Gonzaga's just got a cakewalk to the Final Four, so I think that's pretty chalk. I could see someone like the 11 seeds winning or 12s, like UCSB or Wichita State, but I think ultimately it's just gonna be Gonzaga moving on.
What are your thoughts on Iowa in that region?
Iowa's weird. I mean, IU's beat Iowa twice this year, and IU is awful. So
until Brad Stevens gets there.
Yeah, if we get Brad Stevens, hey, watch out for us. But I think Iowa's pretty good. I think Iowa and Kansas are going to make it, and then I think Iowa will move on. I think Iowa, Gonzaga, Elite Eight matchup in that one. I like Garza.
Yeah. With Iowa, I worry if they don't make shots, Garza has to have 40. And if either of those two things don't happen, I think they could lose to Oregon in the second round. That's what I picked.
I can 100% see that too.
We just shit on the Pac-12, but I think Oregon could cause some trouble for them if they're making shots.
Yeah, Iowa's a 2 seed is weird because they play like a 6 or 7 seed sometimes. So having them at 2 is kind of sus. But
also, I don't like that Bohannon guy on Twitter. He kind of sucks on Twitter. He's got a little big ego to him. I don't like.
I gotta check him out on Twitter.
Yeah, he's all over Twitter. He's constantly on Twitter chirping people. So it's like, dude, come on.
Is he really? Jordan Bohannon is?
Yeah, he's chirping people on Twitter because like, John Rothstein put out a tweet and was like, we should be really grateful that we're having a tournament. I know the situation stinks and players like aren't in the best situation having to quarantine forever. And then he like quote tweeted that and said like, oh, you're telling me you're basically saying shut up and dribble. It's like, no, what? No, dude, come on. Be grateful that we're playing a tournament right now. Obviously, the situation isn't the best. It sucks for everyone across the board. Anyone dealing with COVID, whether you're a basketball player or not, it sucks. Yeah. So, like, yeah, you can complain a little bit, but we're not saying, like, shut up and dribble. That's a little extreme, but it is.
I also think that every year you always have like a 3 or a 2 seed that loses in the first round. I, for one, am not going to pick that because that's impossible. But
Canyon, baby.
That's what I'm saying. Grand Canyon is a pretty good school, and we were watching them a little bit throughout the year. They have Kurt Schilling, who coached me a little bit. They're not bad. I would not be shocked if they won. I think it's crazy to say that, but like looking back in the years, a 3 or a 2 seed like usually doesn't make it out of the first weekend. I don't think it's crazy to say that they're not going to make it out the first weekend. I would not be shocked at all if Grand Canyon beat them.
Yeah, that would be interesting to see. What I think Cleveland State could give Houston some trouble. I think that could be interesting. I could see a game where like Cleveland State's up at half and then Houston pulls away in the second, something like that. But it'll be interesting to see if any 2 seeds put up a fight.
It's so tough to choose like what 2 or 3 seeds going to get knocked out because it's going to be one of them. But it's like, man, which one is it going to be?
Then you pick the one where that 2 or 3 seed goes on to make the championship, and immediately from day one you're screwed. All right, last 2 things we're going to talk about here. One last category before we get into our final 4 picks. This is a special one for you guys, the Put Me in Coach podcast. This is the Ryan Klein Friend of the Program candidate category. So this is one player who could take over a game, have that magical March moment. Obviously, we could have picked like Carson Edwards here. We could have picked Kemba here, but no. None of those people are friends of the program. Ryan Klein is a friend of the program. Yep. So this is the Ryan Klein candidate category. Talk about alliteration there. This is the one guy who could take over and lead their team to a nice little run here. Who wants to start here? Anyone got anyone good?
Yeah, I got a quick low one.
We're going to say the same team.
Are you going UConn?
No.
Oh, okay.
I am.
I got James Bouknight on UConn. This dude, he just came back February 16th. He was hurt. And ever since he's been back, UConn's a completely different team. They're 6-2 with him. And I think he has the best shot at being the Ryan Klein award winner for this season. I think I know who Cole is going to say, though. Cole,
I will say real quick, that's who my guy was. I picked James as well. I think, again, people will say, who's going to be the Kemba? No, who's going to be the Ryan Klein? And it's going to be James Bouknight, 100%.
Wow, that's awesome. We picked the same one.
Cole, who you got?
I also thought about who was going to be the next Ryan Klein. I thought about a couple things. I thought about goons. That's the big word, is a goon. You need an absolute goon. Shoot 80%, 90%, drop 30. Cade Cunningham can do that. This man's the number 1 pick, which scares me because if I was the number 1 pick, I sure as hell would want to get out of college by now. But, hopefully the fight is there with him. I think he's the best player in college basketball. It's not even close. The dude is unreal. If you want 10 assists, he'll drop 10 assists. You want 30 points, he'll make it rain for 30. You can do whatever you want, whenever, however. And then my next one to get nice and hot. I know I just kind of talk shit about him, but if Luka Garza gets hot, I mean, he can drop 40 and 20 in any game he wants, it seems like, in college. So if he can get going, Iowa's going to be tough to beat, but we'll see. I also like Mac McClung a lot because he's Caucasian.
I thought you were going to say Dosunmu.
Oh, I did want to say Dosunmu, but I feel like Illinois is more all around because I love Cockburn and I love Curbelo. So
the thing with Garza getting hot is that like when he gets hot, it's still boring. He could have 40 and 20, and you just feel like this is just boring because he just plays big boy basketball, and it's just like even when Cockburn does his thing, it looks like fun and intimidating and like energy. With Garza, he just like is just patient, pick his spots, make his layups. That's it. It's like it's still boring when he scores 40. So like that's what sucks about that.
It is what sucks. But if he wants to drop 40, I'll watch it. I hope it's not going to be boring in the tournament. I think he's going to let it rain though. I think him getting 30, 40 points is not crazy.
Yeah,
that's a lock. I think round 1 or 2, Garza to drop 30 all day.
Take it. All right, last 5 minutes here. Real quick, let's run through our final 4 picks. Obviously, you can check out the GoodTime Instagram at GoodTime Content. Our full brackets are going to be there, so If you saw it already, spoiler warning, I guess, for people who haven't seen it yet. But here are our final 4 picks. I'll run through mine first. I went pretty chalk. I think I have all 1-2 seeds. Gonzaga, obviously. I mean, I don't see anyone competing with them until the Final Four. I have Alabama making their way as a 2 seed. Ohio State, another 2 seed. And then, as we just talked about, Illinois making a run to the Final Four. And then in the championship game, I have Gonzaga over Illinois. That's the popular pick, but it feels right in my gut, so I got to go with it. Gonzaga over Illinois. Undefeated season. Dethrone IU as that last title. Undefeated season. Gonzaga. Congratulations.
You want to go, Ben, or you want me to say mine first?
Yeah, I'll go. I have the same championship as you, Wyatt, but I have got the Fighting Illini taking down the Zags in the championship. And then joining them in the Final Four, I have got Baylor and Texas, who I went on about earlier.
Like it. Great minds think alike. Cole, what you got?
Yeah, I'm also – did you just say Texas too, Ben?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we have the same Final Four. I think, like we said, I got Gonzaga. I think that's the easiest region to call, in my opinion. I think, that's the section where the 2 seed may lose, the 3, the 4, and the top 4 seeds might all lose other than Gonzaga. I think that's the easiest pick. Best team in college basketball right now, in my opinion, is Illinois. I got them going all the way as well. A team that I'm super high on, loaded with NBA talent, which I love NBA talent. I'm going with Baylor. I think they're too big inside. They have Davion Mitchell and Jared Butler. They're goons in the backcourt. I like them a lot. They also have a white guy off the bench with a mullet. Absolutely incredible.
I forgot. We have like 3 minutes left on the Zoom. You got your 2 categories. You want to go through it real quick in like a minute?
You want me to go through them like real quick?
Yeah, real quick. Let them fly.
Real quick.
From the hip.
Real quick. We kind of already talked about it. All right. I'm going to get up close and personal right now like this. Okay. The goon category. All right. This is a guy that can just carry.
We were watching highlights of Jimmer Fredette, and this man had like 25 of the team's 35. So, like, you need people like that. We kind of just talked about it. Luka Garza is that guy. Puts up 40 like it's nothing. Whenever, however. I think my next guy I would actually have to say that's an absolute goon. This is where I'll say it, Ben. Oyudusumu is an absolute goon, okay? Oyudusumu can steal the ball. He can rebound the ball. He can assist the ball. This is like the one guy in the tournament that doesn't need to get 10 points every single game. He's going to drop a triple-double, get close to it every single game. And my last beast mode, is actually on the same team. So that shows you how scary this team is.
Please be Carvalho.
2-minute warning. 2-minute warning.
Kofi Cockburn is the best big in this tournament by far. He's 7 feet. I think he might weigh 550 pounds roughly. That could be wrong, but
I think it's close.
I think it's close. That guy can't be guarded. When he was guarded, when they're playing against Ohio State, they were triple teaming him. So those are my 3 Goonie goons, and I'll just leave my category at that.
All right, that's it. That's a wrap from the collaboration of the Put Me in Coach podcast and the People Person podcast. Thank you for everyone who tuned in. We appreciate you guys. Go get your Put Me in Coach podcast merch. It's available now in our store. Go follow GoodTime on Instagram. This was fun. March is back. We're back, baby. We're back.
Yeah, dream girl, dreaming, I be dreaming. Missing all the days you got me fiending. I said I love you, baby, no, I mean it. Hey, yeah, dream girl, I be dreaming.